Yeah, man. Smoke. Did you bring any weed? Put it in your pocket. That's even
Hold
better.
on to the clip.
I don't think you should film me when I smoke cigarettes. My parents don't know I smoke. Actually, remember back in the day in the 40s when they had those movies and like the actors are like, that's like right before they have sex, or right before they're ready, like in bed, just thinking about it, just going. I'll tell you about who was the first person to fly without a catapult. It was a Brazilian guy, Santos Dumont. Santos Dumont invented the first airplane without a mechanism. He flew out in Paris by the Eiffel Tower. He was a playboy. He had a shitload of money, and his parents moved to France because they were just loaded. And he decided to be an artist, you know, an inventor. And he was a nerd. And his best friend was inventing watches at the time. And he only had pocket watches at the time. And he told him, he's like, dude, you gotta invent a wristwatch for me because I need to like check my shit fast, you know? So the guy invented the first wristwatch for the Brazilian guy. Dude, our country is fucking shit, but we're totally like self-sufficient. You know, we don't need anything from any other countries to survive. And we invented the airplane. Interesting, right?
Do you drink, Helen?
I'll take a drink.
Water.
Do you drink, Helen?
I'll take a drink.
Water.
I think someone would want to see a documentary about Soccermom because it's filled with all the action and suspense and drama that you would come to expect in a documentary in this millennium.
They got pole dancers, dude, and lots of hot chicks, man.
I caught Jerry Lewis and, what's his name? Bill Cosby. Two comic talents on one show. What was it called? I don't know. My imagination. The point is, guys, Soccermom is top of the line. It's bread and butter, and it soaks up. If you put it in the microwave, you're fucked.
They're kind of beat-driven and riff-driven. And then, Helen just puts the bow on it all out front.
Soccermom has been on the top of list after list of best unsigned for many, many occasions. I've seen that name just, show up in the papers. So, people get it.
Helen didn't want her name Helen on the thing, and maybe her name's kind of matronly though.
Helen, the hell cells. Thinking now, amazing name. But for some reason, Matty, after our fist fight on one of the gigs, he yelled Soccermom. The crowd cheered, and we looked at each other. We said, that's it. So we kept Soccermom as our name.
There's a Simpsons episode, and they're trying to figure out what the name of their band is. It's like Homer and Apu. And so they want to come up with a name that's clever at first and then sort of resonates with an annoyance feel. And they came up with the B Sharps. And, it's funny, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's gay. So, Soccermom, funny at first and gay pretty much after that. What makes Soccermom? Is it the show? or is it the music? I'm going to say it's the show.
Well, I can break it down kind of like in terms of like, you know, the performance, and then that, you know, just that incredible over the top vocal thing, you know, like the way that those things work together, the sort of the edginess but tightness of the music, the professionalism on the music really gives it that sort of like hard, sort of spunky thing, and then the just the mania in the vocals. I mean, the way that she belts that out is unbelievable, and that I think gives it a lot of its you know, really true grit on the punk side.
No, see, that's where you're wrong. It's not complex at all. Because the first time I saw Helen, all right, I mean, there, from the bowels of the Amazon rainforest, was just this vision of absolute madness and absolute genius. I mean, she's like a walking Joseph Conrad character. I mean, she's heart of darkness and heart of light all at the same time. It's amazing. The first time I saw her rolling around on that stage, drunk, this girl just wandered out of the jungle. Okay? I mean, and she was born to do what she's doing now. It was her destiny. I mean, she was just sucked. Like I say, it was like the heart of darkness. I mean, you know, she was sucked out of that river. Okay? She lands in LA with a microphone in her hand. She, you know, finds the tattooed guy, and they start to play. And, I mean, now look, you can sit there and you can say, well, there's coincidence or whatever. That's no coincidence. I mean, only a higher power could have brought these two people together. Things like this just don't happen every day. I mean, she's an amazing creature. You know, maybe in another alternate dimension we were made to be together. I'm Dan Sanders, and I'm on this planet to see things. And like I say, one day I saw Helen, and I was never the same. What movie would I be in with Helen? You're talking regular movies, right? I mean, not like the kind they make in Calabasas or whatever? I'm going to get a copy of this, right? What about, like, Titanic?
My first job was at the 99-cent store. And I was like, I guess someone walk in and they're like, how much is this? I'm like, it's fucking 99 cents. Don't ever ask me again.
I met Helen. You know what? She was just a customer. She came, and she was so fucking cute that day. She had that haircut. You know what I mean? I was like, and I needed some people to work at the time, and I asked her if she wanted to work, and she said yes. And Helen worked for me for 4 years. She's managed my store.
I was the roller coaster operator in Mission Beach. And I was like, you guys ready? Woo! I'm like, fuck it. I worked there for 2 weeks. And I'm like, I hate this, you guys. I don't want to be here anymore. Just give me the hot dog stand right at the beach. I'll sell Hebrew Nationals and Ben & Jerry's.
I'm Molly, and I know Helen because I worked with her recently, but she left, and it was really sad. And she sang for me, but like I've never seen her perform.
She sang for you?
Yeah.
For real? What did she sing, you know?
I don't know, just like in the car.
Coming here?
No, a long time ago on like for 14 and below.
I'm Todd Christensen. I started and founded 14 Below in 1993 in Santa Monica. It's a old neighborhood rock and roll bar where people just got down and dirty and drank and had a good time. No fuss, no muss. And did that for 14 years. Recently, I had to move on, and now I own the Mint, which I bought in 2004. And so now it's 2007, it's going on 3 years. The Mint has been around since 1937. I was lucky enough to come upon this venture, and then that's kind of my new thing that I'm doing right now. Soccermom first played at 14 Below, and you know, we're always always trying to look for new talent to come into the club, you know, because we had live music 7 nights a week. And you never know who's going to come along and be a good band. You never know who's going to come along and be a great band. And of course, for every good band, every great band, there's plenty of bands that suck. They're just atrocious. Make you walk right out of the bar. That bad. Just like can't even stay in the room bad. You know, Soccermom came and they played. Like, this band's pretty good, you know, good punk rock band. Soccermom came in there and had that sexy little Brazilian gal front lead singer, and she kicked everybody in the ass, and they got the crowd going. And I didn't know it at the time, but they wound up being a band that was kind of a 14 Below, definitely a 14 Below favorite, you know, a band that we would come back again and again. I remember there was a period of time there where I think they played every month for like 6 or 7 months in a row, sometimes more than once a month, which was unusual because normally we would schedule the bands to play, you know, 3 months, you know, later, you know, maybe 2 or 3 times a year for the bands that we liked. The next day I came back to the club and I saw pictures of Helen all over my sidewalk and all over my building. And somebody had, I don't know, somebody spray painted her face.
Somebody had made a stencil of Helen with Soccermom on it. They did graffiti work on pretty much every bit of the club.
On the sidewalk, on the side of the building, in the dressing room.
And I'll never forget my manager coming in the next day yelling, "I don't know what's going on. Helen must be sucking the owner's dick."
I mean, she's a very pretty girl, and I appreciate that, you know, the art, but I didn't need it all over my sidewalk.
Take this down, Miss Helen.
You know, Helen's really cool. I've seen her, like, wasted a few times, you know.
I consider her a little Mick Jagger. Little mini Mick Jagger with a Chinese outfit on.
You try to define Helen, she'd throw a nuclear bomb on you.
You can't really tell if she's like, you know, Asian or Latin or what.
Oh, I was an Asian girl born in Brazil.
Helen's got 2 nipples attached to her chest like any other man.
I think Helen's a fucking badass. Biggest one around. She's a star.
She's the nice guy with the Jack Daniels in her hand.
She's got really a unique look. And, you know, I think that there are a lot of guys that think she's really hot, you know, like she's really hot. And you know, they're always like hitting on her and shit.
Well, she's incredibly sexy. She's also exotic. And to me, that really appeals to me in a sexual way. However, I happen to know that she's married, and so am I. I've been in a relationship for the last 23 years, and I'm legally married, but that doesn't mean that I'm dead.
She's just an awesome girl. Like, she's down to earth, and I don't know, she knows what she's talking about.
Meaning that that's what struck me at first, but what got me after that was the power behind the sex, which is what really propels rock and roll anyway, if you ask me.
Helen is a Venice Beach style icon. She has her own rock, punk rock, tough chick. I think she is definitely a girl that other girls should look up to as a tough girl who's not going to take crap, but who also looks fabulous and stylish.
Oh, great. I'm talking about my miserable life.
There's a frontman, and that band is basically associated with that frontman. Yeah, sure, you can like the drummer, the guitarist, the bass player, whatever. You know, you can like your individual players. But the band is usually, or traditionally, defined by the front person.
I've seen Soccermom shows where Helen was falling off the front of the stage and holding herself up by the mic stand.
Because I met Matty Goodman 6 years ago, and he taught me how to be retarded.
Dedicated for a shitload of people. Think of that! And that too.
Don't touch the shit. Where did you get a can of beer from?
Thank you all, you guys, for sticking up and being.
That was swift.
That was good.
I am different than most people.
There's definitely like a X factor somewhere in there that's like unexplainable. Most performers who have like a certain magic exhibit something that you might call supernatural or otherworldly, because it's like most of us can't get access to it. We don't know what that is. There was a lot of stories over the years about, like, let's say Jimi Hendrix is a good example. Jimi Hendrix had that otherworldly thing where he would just, something would get a hold of him, and when he was playing, it was more powerful than him. And you could see it, you know, and people who are doing that, sometimes they seem a little surprised by themselves while they're performing, because they, you know, can't really exactly understand it themselves, you know. And I think that, you know, that's a magical skill that very few people have, you know. You know, people vary. Some people are very arrogant about it, but that's often a, you know, a cover-up for shyness. Or some people are, you know, like almost too conciliatory and don't really know where they stand, and those people don't really have a personality, so you got to kind of make one. Well, then there's this sort of like this other category that I was talking about, where people come in and, you know, they're really good at what they do, they're trained, they, you know, have the, you know, the requisite amount of skill, but you get them wound up and something else starts to happen. They start to kind of like, just, I don't know what to call it. They move strangely, and they do things that are sort of transcendent. That, like, you can't quite put it together anymore. That size person with that size mouth and that size voice and that size chest and that kind of like amount of like what seems like that much experience is suddenly, you know, like writing or performing at this other level. You can feel it. It's a presence. And it kind of gives you chills. And that's, I think, what it is that communicates a lot of really, really major artists, you know?
I am different than most people.
It's not about contests. It's not about who can get the highest up out of the pool. It's not about who can do the, you know, the gnarliest jump. You know? It's about, can you get on the skateboard, roll down the street?
Let me ask you a really important question.
Okay, what's the important question?
Do you think anyone in Soccermom can skate or surf?
Yes, Matty can. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, but can he really?
What do you mean, can he really?
I don't know.
You know, yeah. Matty skates, right?
You need Jagger and Richards. You need Tyler and Perry. You need the Glimmer Twins. You need the Toxic Twins. You need...
Matty, he's one of the most exciting members of the band. He is super high energy and very exciting, and he rocks out, and his hair is constantly changing colors.
Socks on his arms.
He walked across the top of the drum kit, over his amp, and around the monitors in the front. It's like he was on a skateboard, and he got coping all the way around, you know. And yeah, and he ate it, but it didn't faze him much at all.
I don't know who writes the music or who is in charge, but Matty commands the stage and he rocks out.
He's the leader of the group.
He's very entertaining.
I came to LA, and my first job I met Matty. And he came to me and he's like, Helen, let's start a punk band. And I was like, okay. He's like, do you sing? I was like, no. He's like, perfect. Well, Matty just wanted to play funk and they didn't know it. And Matty just came out very strongly in a certain way. And then funk music, they didn't match to where Matty was at the time, I guess. I don't know. Only Matty can tell you that one. But that's what I thought. I said, Matty wants to play some funk, and then suddenly he was mosh pitting. And then to me it made sense, but to other people it was just vandalism.
My name? Oh, which one? My name is Valerie, and I used to be the slave girl in Venice, and this one used to fucking drive me crazy, walking in my salon like a hairstylist. I'm sorry, I have a huge accent. But anyway, those cats start the bands in my place.
When we first started, I'll tell you what, Helen barely spoke English, you know. She had enunciation problems with words, and now she's like, a different person. It's amazing. It was really easy at first because me and Helen worked together, so she'd come up in my room. I had this shitty little room there that I cut hair on, and we'd write down the lyrics, and I'd teach her the songs, and we'd sit there and jam a little bit.
We had Matty as a guitar player, which he's a bass player.
Guitar players get more pussy than bass players.
And the husband was a guitar player, ended up playing bass. Never played bass before, and I was the singer.
And then we just go out and do it with this drum machine, and then Chris come out and started doing it with this drum machine, and our buddy Yem,
the kick-ass graffiti artist from LA.
He would kind of sneak up, push play, and then run back. He was our drum machine starter. And then, it must have taken 4 or 5 days to find the drummer. I knew him, and we were playing. And probably our first gig, we did 2 gigs in one night. And we played at Anthony's Family Restaurant in some city, South Bay somewhere. And we played for these realtors, and we sang this song we got called Realtor Scum. And the words are, Realtor Scum, won't you give me fucking cash? Give me fucking money or I'll shove it up your ass. It's pretty much the song. And we sang it to them, and you see the people just progressively getting farther back away from the stage. And we loved it. And we yelled at the people, and that's just kind of how the irreverency was spawned right there at Anthony's Family Restaurant for the first annual Realtors Softball Convention sweepstakes, some shit like that. And we got there because this asshole named Danny Romero, some guy in Venice Beach here, said he was going to give us $10,000 because he thought we was good, and then he never gave us any money. So that's why he had that song written about him, and we went and performed it in front of his peers. Pretty good times.
because it's fronted by a woman, you know, you would compare them to, say, Blondie, Avengers, you know, any other band that's fronted by a woman. This band is easily fronted by a woman who is very strong. Matty is a bit of a hothead, and depending on the circumstances of the night, of the evening, can, you know, go in one direction or another.
Matty had a way of just getting under people's skin. I don't know what it was, man. He just really irked the shit out of some people. And usually really big people, too. I don't know what's up with that, man.
I actually produced the Matty project before Soccermom. So, and I have actually no idea how he hunted me down. So I think he was just kind of a fan of some of the people I'd worked with and somehow found me, and then we ended up doing that Ike record together, and then just over the years been kind of involved in various things off and on.
You know, Chris and Helen to me are classics. Matty's a ripper, Helen's a fucking kick-ass singer. You know, I like bringing new friends to see them live, and I like to hear, okay, tell me now what you think. And they're, you know, some of them are big musicians. And then it's like, all right, what do you think of the band? Like, fuck, they're so impressed. And Helen's stage presence is insane.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you know, as a bass player, I like DQ a lot.
D4 kicks ass.
Whether or not he likes it, you know, because I'm not really convinced, you know, that he does or he doesn't. I think he does, but I mean, he's got a lot of projects going on. But anyway, that guy is solid as hell.
I've seen John come in with some of the best artists in the business. John's great. In fact, I'd say he's kind of like the guy that doesn't really fit Soccermom.
Do you know Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I've met him a couple times, but like, I don't know.
And with Chris, he's almost always on cue.
But there was one night where I think Chris asked me if he could use the curtain.
He's not really one of the leaders. It's Matty and Helen.
And I was in a bad mood, and I said, "No, man, we can't use the curtain tonight."
I mean, I've seen Chris babysit everybody in the band, and I think that's what being in the band is all
I
about.
think Chris said, "You know, come on, man. You know, we play here all the time. Why can't we use the curtain?" Well, it erupted into this. Set your fucking drum kit up right now. Get ready to go, because I'm starting your set in 5 minutes. If you're not playing, then get the fuck out. Fuck Soccermom.
Helen's just a bona fide rock star. She could get up on stage and she could do things that other people just can't
She's got
do.
the destructive element.
That is true.
But,
that's it. And that's all it is.
I don't remember what song it was, but she fell down, and she wasn't, I don't know, she left the microphone on the stand thing, and she wasn't doing anything except just sort of flopping around like a fish. Now, see, I understood what it was. It was a religious ritual, but...
Helen was all sparked out the other night. She's like, "You really responded to that song." It's just like, well... No, it's just funny. I think Man Groupie's a classic song.
Oh, it's fantastic.
But, don't write songs about it.
Man Groupie is about a guy named Walter. Walter's Man Groupie, he came in, he needed a haircut to get a job at an exterminator. Doing his hair, and he's got a spot in the back of his head the size of an egg that's missing right here. And he says he was working at a graphic design place, and his long, heavy metal hair, because he's like in the YNT at Tesla, he was working on the print up, and the thing caught his hair like this, and his head stuck on the roller. And so like his hair pulled out of his head and then just burned on the roller until they turned it off. Jeez. So that's Walter the Man Groupie. So he gets his hair cut and he comes back and says, the boss says he needs his hair shorter. And he comes in and he takes his tooth out and he goes, look. He goes, I was working for the Department of Water and Power and I was twerking on a wrench really hard and it came loose. and it hit me in the tooth and knocked it out. So I figured to myself, this guy got his tooth knocked out, then he got his hair cut in a roller, now he's going to go work with like termites, bug poison. What's going to happen? He's the greatest man groupie ever.
I'm Eric Stringer. I consider myself a #1 Soccermom fan. And you?
Yeah, I'm Brandon. I'm a local sound engineer in Los Angeles. I've seen really, really good Soccermom shows. I've seen Soccermom shows where Helen was falling off the front of the stage. I've seen Helen where she could probably barely, speak.
It's just fun energy. They're definitely a time warp. They actually really are an LA band from 1982. Everything they do, including the sort of odd mismatch of characters and everything, is so kind of circa early days of punk rock. Luckily the songwriting is good, but I think it's just kind of such a party it almost wouldn't matter if it wasn't.
So I can't tell you if Helen is a man or a woman. Helen probably has what is defined as an engorged clitoris. An engorged clitoris or clitoral gigantism, I believe it's called. It's when your clitoris is like 2 or 3 inches long and considered a penis. Helen has seen my penis, so she knows I'm a man. A woman performed oral sex upon my wiener so gallantly to leave a mark, and I was proud of it, so I showed it to Helen, and then Helen photographed it because she's an avid, or should I say a amateur.
I love your member.
The reason why I'm in this documentary, or the way that I know like Soccermom, is that they're kind of a down-home punk rock group. And I met, Matty and Helen and the rest of the band, in Venice. I can remember a concert. One of the concerts, or one of the events that they did, I guess they did something at the Townhouse. It was the first time they had, any kind of event in the Townhouse. I mean, they opened up the cellar for the show that Soccermom did, and it was really cool. It was really cool. It was out of hand. It got really out of hand. There was I think there was some undercover narcotics officers there, and they had to lead a few people out, and Helen was in really, really rare form that night.
People like to drink when they see Soccermom. The band's up there having a good time, and people feed off of that, When they see a band having a good time, they feed off that. And
as I said, the Townhouse show. Dude, the narcs came in, fucking raided the place, swooped up a couple guys, and, and then there was some words outside in the street. So, actually, I got out of there a little early, because when the narcs came in, and I saw a few beer bottles fly, I said, we gotta get out of here because something's gonna happen.
Well, it doesn't get any better than this. I guess someone's watching this in Ohio. And what day is today? Today is December 14th. It's like 10 days till Christmas right now, and we're just hanging out in the sun. It's really nice. So as soon as the weather gets bad, we'll go back to work. Bands don't have leaders, they're democracy. A democracy is when one person gets fucked for the good of all. Everybody has a specific job. Democracy. That's what I think. So it's Helen's job. It's Helen's job to be Helen and to be a rock star. She knows how to do it really well. It comes from within. And Chris is just a graphic design genius. He makes all the flyers. It's amazing. He's really talented at it. And John pretty much holds the whole thing together and communicates to everybody individually and makes sure that nobody kills each other. He's like the scale, you know, he keeps it all balanced. And it works well. And Helen is like, you know, the most popular girl in Venice Beach, California, so she just has to like make like a text message or something that goes to everybody and takes care of that out here. So that's our job. That's how the band works. And I don't think anyone is way, you know, any more important than the other. It's hard to say I'm the leader. I don't feel that there should be a leader in the band. I think I'm a creative driving force in the band that, you know, probably has more of a vision of where I'm going. And that's about the only difference. I kind of see the future of Soccermom. I'm building it. But I don't think I'm leading the band anymore.
Conflict, just Matty rules everything.
Yeah, that's true. It's a dictatorship.
Yeah. It's spelled clean, very effective.
Can punk be commercial, asks Matty from Soccermom, and that's a really good question. Punk is mutated. It's like sort of like a different thing now. It's like there is something that, you know, you could call punk, and it sounds something like old school punk, except it's a lot slicker and more commercial. A lot of it is mainstream, major label stuff, and then even the sort of the underground D side of it is very, very commercial, like Hot Topic, I guess you could say. You know, I go on Hot Topic, it's adorable. I mean, they have great clothes that look really cute on chicks and stuff. You know, it's awesome. But it is definitely a different generation of punk that has been sort of like zapped of any kind of content or meaning or sensibilities, except perhaps just the, you know, the ongoing thing that, you know, kids see that shit is fucked up and they want to complain about it, and there's like just sort of like that just general angst that, you know, I had it. Soccermom is a punk band more like in sentiment and attitude. You know, the music is furious as well, but the music's a little on the pro side. It's really got a nice sharp kind of quality to it. So, you know, it could cross over, but the thing is the attitude is so just fucking cool, you know? And that's what makes it punk, I think, is that it is really, really like rowdy and will not let go of you, and it will not compromise. And I think that that's what punk, to me, what was always about was the uncompromising sense of being who you are. I did it my way, you know, like sort of like, you know, Frank Sinatra and John, you know, like Sid Vicious and, you know, me. I did it my way. My name is Geza X. I'm best known as a record producer. I did a lot of underground stuff in the late 70s, early 80s. Groups like Black Flag, Germs, Red Cross. I mean, there's a big list. I don't want to... Dead Kennedys. Did I say Dead Kennedys already?
So this is what's going on with Paris Hilton, I'll tell you. Paris Hilton's dad is calling up Harvey Levin every morning. After he has, you know, breakfast with Paris, and he says, "Hey, Paris, what are you going to do tonight?" She's like, "Well, I'm going to go to the Mondrian with Nicole and Lindsay, and then we're going to go, you know, I don't know what we're going to do after that."
Take your asses, lift, kick, suck, jump. Thank you. Soccermom is here to do that for you. You bitches really
I feel like I'm in like the pastor of the church. Hallelujah.
everybody gets into a band, you know, for their own artistic reasons. You just got to pick the hottest chick that knows how to spell and can sort of read. And that's what you settle for in life. Normally I just sit here and the girls come in and suck my cock and leave. That's why I started playing in Soccermom, so I can have orgasms without reciprocating. Helen brings in the hottest groupies of any girl I've ever met in my entire life. If your singer is attractive, the guitar player actually gets more attractive women. Young teenagers, they're not out to follow the Martha Stewart. They want to find the cutest disaster and follow it around. We got Lindsay Lohan doing it, we got Paris Hilton, we got Helen doing it. It's the way it's done. Except Helen doesn't get busted or she's not in rehab yet.
Punk rock, I guess, as you might call it, came around probably about in the 80s, late 70s, early 80s and stuff, and that kind of music, I think helped inspire skating and surfing, and it helped to, the energy from the music, when we translated into the surfing and the skating, skating moves became a little bit more crazy, aerials and stuff, and surfing moves started to go up, changed a little bit, the types of moves that you do on the surfboard, and then music, it all works together. It's like it's a cultural thing. When you listen to punk rock music, you feel a little bit more energy, and when you surf, you really want to do something that's more aggressive. You feel more aggressive. Let's just put it that way. It's like a feeling that you get. Like after you listen to music, then some good music that you enjoy and stuff, and when you translate that into your surfing or your skating, your style, it takes on that aggressiveness. My name is Jeff Ho, and I own the Jeff Ho Surfboard Zephyr Productions. I build surfboards, I build skateboards. I have a small little clothing line. You won't find it in Target or Walmart or Costco or something. You know what I'm saying?
What if we paid you $1,500 to belly dance in just a G-string? That's only 45 minutes worth of work.
G-string and pasties? I could do that.
Well, the pasties would just be like those invisible Band-Aids that you could see through, then yes.
We can.
How about electrical tape X's like Wendy
Okay,
O'Williams?
that's fair. Sure.
Shave cream. When I first met Eden, she wouldn't even, take her clothes off to go to the bathroom. And now, for $1,500, we could get to see the goods.
I sponsored a team called the Zephyr Competition Team, and I had members on the surf team and on the skate team. And what happened was, like, 12 of the members out of about the 30 members that I was sponsoring, we took them down to a skate contest in San Diego in Del Mar, and that was in 1975.
When you sponsored them, were you over 21?
I was over 21.
Did you buy them booze?
No. Come on now. I never bought anybody any booze.
Well, I'm glad I wasn't on your skate team.
Of course, I never bought them any booze or any of that. Yeah, well, yeah, they had to learn on their own, and they learned pretty quick, I guess. They made a couple of films about it, and so now it's been documented as a cultural movement, you might say.
Most bands, they sit and torture themselves about music day in and day out, hammer shit out in the garage, and write their set list on the wall. None of that goes on.
You guys are all one-take chicks. Everybody's one-take chick. I tried to get her up, get some harmonies and all that. No. We did it right. We did a good album. And my name is Ryan Ream. I produced some of their albums. And we remember everything. Hit Vicodin with alcohol, you remember everything the next one.
A good producer knows the proper blend of drugs and alcohol and pills.
Yeah. So, that's important.
Our influence, it's Matty. It's me following Matty, trying to put my influence into Matty, which is basically saying, hey, take your pants down and bend over. But he still listens to me. I listen, you know, a couple of months from now, he will listen and be like, okay, maybe I'll do that. You know the colon part of your body? That's what's come out. Well, the image that we're trying to portray is just a combination of the four of us truly being together with each other and trying to share what we have as good and bad and distorted and everything that we can create. We're trying to get together, and I guess this is what a band is through the years. And what people say about you is just really relative, because they don't leave that and they don't know what really is going on. But I really appreciate people that talk positive about anything that you do in life, or if they do, talk about you. And it's just we put so much work and effort and with each other already, and whatever comes out, it's the raw thing that comes out. And for the fact that we have only each other to grow, that's all you get. And I am very blessed that I have people in my life like this, that I can still share things and then still have people appreciating all that.
the drama in the band? Gossip.
There is no.
No
We
drama?
just get along
No
good.
drama? Is there?
What you see is what you get.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just like to be the life of the party.
You are, yeah. I agree.
We do not get along. It's like I will have fist fights with Matty on stage and get out of stage and be like, people will be like, that was awesome.
Tonight's show was one of the better shows I've ever seen. That's coming from someone who's seen about 50 shows. So.
And I'll be like, no, that was a fist fight, and a man just beat a woman on stage, and you know that's not cool. And then months goes by, and I'm like, where's Matty? Why didn't he call me? Why didn't he call me? And then I'll call him up, and I'll be like, Matty? And be like, Helen, I love you. I'll be like, dude, me too. So I don't know. It's just crazy and weird, but at least we come together as a family, whatever we can, how we can, and just random but good.
You've always said that she needs to die tragically.
That's right.
Why is that?
Because everybody knows the reason why people die tragically is to immortalize themselves in history.
That's what it takes, huh?
It's premeditated, man.
That's
Hitler
a
did it.
tough.
Elvis did it.
Jeez. The things you have to
Morrison did it. They become Marilyn Monroe. They never age. They become stars until the planet explodes. And that's where Helen's going, right? I've had a bisexual business partner for over 10 years. And
Does she steal all your girls?
no, we share them.
That's true.
Yep, she buys them something and I become sexual with them.
And I got together with Matty, and Matty was the one who kind of put together this little event at 14 Below. And it was a punk rock show. I think there was like JFA and the Scuffs and Dr. No and Matty's band Soccermom. And they played for a couple nights and we gathered some signatures for the petition, and we handed those in to the city council. And what happened was they saved Dogtown. Dogtown skates by destruction. There you go. Santa Monica Daily Press.
What makes Soccermom a Venice band?
Well, the big thing is, there's a pretty good chance wherever you go to see them, your car is going to get broken into. You park in Venice, you're going to get your car broken into. But last time I came to see a play, somebody broke my window, They my stereo and stuff. So
It's hard to replace an 8-track too.
Yeah, it is.
There's always something that happens in Venice. Always something that happens at a party. Someone's always getting fucked up. Someone's always getting stabbed. Beer bottles are always fucking flying, and you don't know when it's gonna happen or when it's gonna come, You know what I'm saying?
It's just like surfing.
You just don't fucking know.
I know I'm gonna hit some for you though.
Wanna go party? What do you wanna do?
Fucking stop this shit, motherfucker.
Who? That guy had Scotty in a fucking sleeper hold.
Give me a cigarette right now.
I don't have a fucking cigarette. Dude, all I know is that guy fucking had fucking Scotty like. Dude, that guy had you by the fucking neck. I fucking jumped in. No, I was not gonna let that happen.
Did you have a fight?
Thanks. No worries.
Save me. There was a fight?
There's a fight. I was in control.
There's
He was doing this mosh thing, and we were fucking getting all crazy.
Strangling me because I had like a little blood goblets I was ready to throw on this fucking asshole.
Blood
All I
goblets?
see
is just this guy just like straight.
And I was supposed to do something. I was trying to remember.
Hey, for the fucking for the documentary, homeboy fucking jumped off the fucking stage with his guitar and fucking beat the shit out of anybody that needed to be beat shit.
I don't really remember what it was, but I'll tell you what. I know that I'm all right.
Well, you know, if you want to have stupid people fun, you have to do what stupid people do, right?
Então, pra mim, quanto mais banda você vê, sabe, em geral, você vai criar ideia pra você. Você vai falar, não quero criar, isso já existe.
You're Samoan, you must know about corned beef.
Portuguese sausage and eggs. Fucking Portuguese sausage and eggs.
What other bands are in Venice? I don't know that many bands in Venice. There's the old school hard, punk rock bands, Suicidal, Jane's Addiction. They represent Venice. They've been here. They've earned it.
When they come to a local venue in Venice or Santa Monica, they usually bring the core group of people and locals that know them.
In terms of management or getting a record deal or being independent or just being on MySpace, it's just a really open and undefined turf for this band. And they're really got their own drive. They're just in a productive, they do it all themselves. The art scene on Abbot Kinney, show me another band that owns it more than Soccermom. They lived on Abbot Kinney. I know people would love to read about that in Germany. I don't understand why there isn't more success or, basically the music industry's crashed and A&R guys would die for this stuff. You couldn't compose or bring together more talented individuals with more personality than this.
For me, working with Soccermom was pretty much about the money train. I mean, I never really liked the band very much, but nobody in town would really work with them. And so you could easily pull 3 to 4 times the income working with them than you charge another band. So, I mean, for me, Soccermom and Matty was just the gravy train. I loved it. So anytime I could get them in and just pay off the electric bill before lunch, it was pretty sweet. So, every time I get a call from Matty, I'm always calling right back. Guys got to make a buck.
If you were to dial it in and choose a musician to play that part, you couldn't be contrived and pull this off.
And did you know that Soccermom has never toured? They've never played out of town aside from, say, like Long Beach or...
No, they played New York.
Oh, did they really?
They played San Fran.
Okay, I did not know that.
But on one-off deals. They played, I think they squeezed in like 12 shows in Europe.
But they've never been on tour.
So where does the resistance come from? So you have to convince them.
Matty.
What does that mean?
It means Matty doesn't want to do it. Sucks.
A big one. You don't have any aspirin in there? Rolaids? That's for your anus.
That is true. Not for your brainus, but for your anus.
Yeah.
Turns your poop black.
Turns your poop black?
Yeah. Because there's iron in it.
We got to New York and we played CBGB's in Meow Mix, which was a lesbian bar, and we could not even play that bar unless we had a girl in
A lesbian.
a lesbian girl in a band, and I said, I'm a lesbian. So we played, and I had diarrhea. I said, what's good for diarrhea? She said, what is it? Imodium D-A. Imodium AD.
I've been urging Matty to tour, and especially I know that Helen and Chris have been talking about going to Japan and Australia, and I think that's perfect for them.
Is this the last gig?
No. We got one scheduled already for November.
Soccermom's alive and well?
Oh yeah. Soccer Mom never goes away. It just forms other paths.
I don't know. I mean, for me, touring was a necessity. It was something that you had to do. It was something you were going to do. It was something that you entered into when you did your thing. And now, granted, it's hard to corral Soccer Mom nowadays, especially. Times have changed, but I mean, if you want to further the cause, then yeah, you're gonna have to tour, and if you can go to places like Brazil or Japan or Australia, I mean, for crying out loud, man, you live here in LA all the time. Why don't you just get out and go see the world, dude? There's a little calling card for you, Matty.
There's bands that go out there on tours and they play gig after gig after gig, and they finally get somewhere and they figure out like nobody cares. Usually the common thread amongst the bands that make it is that the music's good and that they actually genuinely are good songwriters, good musicians, and they have drive to bring their passion to other people, and that's usually what helps bands make it.
I mean, if Matty leave the band, it's not the band. I mean, come on, Matty. Soccermom is you, HELEN, Chris, and...
I don't like to believe that. There's rumors, but we like to think that the band will go on, so we're hoping for that after tonight's show.
Besides the tears and the blood, it's all happiness.
Tonight was a great show. It was an amazing show, but Matty, you can't. I'm sorry. I mean, if you leave the band, then, it needs to be another name. Sorry. Love you guys.
Actually, Matty's the guy writing all these songs. And, he's actually the guy that's really kind of holding all that down, as far as I understand.
I'd say, when they first started out, like any band, I mean, they were a little bit raw, probably in the beginning. But, as far as, and as they progressed, they polished their act. And he got tighter and tighter, and they wrote new material.
There's a learning curve for each member in the band, and there's a sort of drama to see how they meld together because they come from such diverse backgrounds.
Helen was always a sweetheart, always nice to everybody, usually drunk, usually late, and hard to get on stage, but when she got there, she did it right, and she definitely, she's a front woman that's can hold her own.
So it's a real tribute that they kept it together and stayed together as a band for this many years, and they're still doing it and they're still into it, and still writing music and doing what they pursuing their I want to say dream, but they're pursuing, as someone once said, to thine own self be true. I mean, they're following what they want to do in their life, and I think that's very commendable, and because it's not always easy to do, it's the practicality of life sometimes makes you give up on that stuff, and these guys are sticking with it, so my hat's off to them, and I think they've blossomed very nicely over the years.
making something.
Boom operator.
He's a boom operator.
Boom operator.
There were many times like, hey, can you do a gig? We had a band fall out, and they were always there for us. Give and take, you know. Good relationship, you know, we kind of look after each other a little bit. We don't always get that. You don't want that.
Yeah, it is. This is the van of a Soccermom participant. The streamlined curves, we call it Big Purple Suppository.
Thanks for coming. Man, I love you. We never played a song before, so we gotta play for you guys. Like